Wow. Hello and welcome back to Reality Check. I'm your host, Viola Washington, and I have with me my co-host today,
Andrew Rhodes.
Okay. And we want to just welcome you back to the conversation. And the conversation is not over, even though Kamala Harris is not the president and Donald Trump is. It's not over. We have lots of work to do. And we're here today just to talk about a way forward. We got to move forward. It's going to be a lot of organizing that we have to do. We just got to continue to organize, let people know what's going on from Washington D.C. to the steps of your capital. And we want to continue that conversation. And we want to do that today. We're just going to talk about how do we move forward. You know, now that we know and as I say, I have learned so much in the time of Kamala Harris this run for her as president. I have learned so much about us people. We are so controlled and don't even know it. And when I say we are so controlled, because we all live in this under this system of racism controls everything, but we don't see it most of the time. So that's why it beats us, that fear factor always there. We're going to talk about that. But I just want to say that in this election, you know, after the election, I really had to have a talk with my creator to help me to understand what happened, because I was so sure that we was ready for a woman president, and I thought we was ready for a black woman. We was not going to be this gender thing and this color struggle. We were just going to go on and deal with the best person, the most qualified person to lead us forward instead of taking us back. And this man talked about what he was going to do, and he said all these things, but I don't know, we just didn't believe him. And I was so disappointed in our men, both black, white, and Latino. I was so disappointed. And I said to my God, what happened? Why is this taking place? And I got the answer, is that it was the fear. And most of the men voted for Kamala Harris. Men was not ready to stand up and be a man and vote for a woman. That was the problem. That's why we did not win. But we don't want men to think that they're going to have that control over us like that. You're going to have to meet us halfway. We have brought you through this whole world so far. You have had the guidance of women. We're the first thing in your life. And then you turn your back on us this way. That's to me, it's kind of like a throat cut. you know, talking about believing that we that you had our back, that we was together in this because it's the right thing. And most of the men voted for voted against Kamala Harris. So we got to do better. We got to do better, because if you want our support, you got to give us your support. And we can't forget that our men ran out on us. They did not stay and go with us. We were standing alone again, standing alone. So it has to stop. So Andrew, I know you wants to come in, and I'm gonna let you come in and talk about the way forward that you think.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, what you're saying. I mean, it's a common basic fact that we know. But we have to also understand that we talk about moving ahead because we've moved ahead of Trump before. Okay, and that's going to happen again. He's going to have systems so tied up, in government that we don't have a choice. But there are things I remember and you read a piece out of the Bible, and it's about fighting the power that's within. Fight the,
Ephesians
fight.
6:12.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also that song by the Isley Brothers, Fight the Power That's Be.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to have to fight the power. There's no doubt in my mind. But
that Carl Gavin always say, once we speak truth to power, then we can fight it.
And then we're not even realizing what's the truth. The truth is, and I'll speak to people of all colors. We know there are Caucasians. We know there's African Americans. I'm talking about people who voted in this race. There's Latinos. But we have this thing that we use these phrases, black and brown people, and but there also had sexism in this race. Because for me, I will never understand why a man will talk about women's females place, where you can block them from doing things with their body. That's sexism to me, and it ain't my business. I'm gonna simply say, if I as an individual had to say what it is that a female should do, then I'd say, well, you need to ask those females. I don't need to even vote on this because we are the people. Men are the people who sit by and watch. And for a man to sit up there and say, I'm going to stop, abortions, because he did, you got to remember, he did say, hey, I'm responsible. He said, I'm responsible for Roe versus, Wade. And he did it because he selected a Supreme Court handpicked that said, okay, which is another branch of government that he can control. Now, it's going to get even worse because he's going to be able to pick more people to the Supreme Court. And the next thing you know, it ain't going to be just about women. Just like they mailing these letters out, sending these letters out saying, hey, get ready to go back to the plantation. Somebody know who's responsible for that. So we're about, and I say we, I'm talking about black and brown people, we're about to experience the worst time since civil rights, probably even since Jim Crow, that we're going to experience in this country in the next 4 years. Now, you could say, it ain't no big thing. It's a big thing because I'm not used to people being in control of me, and I won't let people be in control of what I do or what I do for my family or what I do for my children. They're all grown. They're all females. They can make their own choices. They don't need government stepping in and saying, you can't do this or you can't do that with your body. But now, remember, he went on those issues, and I just want to say that this wasn't about black men. This was about females didn't stop. And I'm not just saying, I'm talking about all females. He got the popular vote amongst females, and look, men shouldn't even be included in that discussion. That's my feeling.
And female, we
white and black.
I'm talking about and Latino.
And Latinos.
Because I think we as females have a problem too with accepting a woman as our leader, even though a woman has always been your leader.
All the time.
All the time. I don't remember being led by anybody as a child growing up, and God me in my life, but women. Even though there was men there in my life, but there was women who had the hands on. And they didn't discriminate against boy and girl. The woman had hands on all of her children. And now it's that turnaround, and you got to be over the woman, and and I we gotta get past that. There's a
lot of things wrong with America. But I think we face one of the things, one of the biggest problems we have in America, and it's called racism. And people, as you and I sit here and talk earlier, you know, I want to say, we are the baby boomers. But I remember, Linda remember, you remember, we remember what racism looked like. And our children didn't.
Right.
Our children didn't get to experience the things that you can best say when it came to racism, our children benefited from the good that we did, in the early 60s and the 70s.
And gave them a way out.
And now
now it's just stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're saying, well, I don't mind going back to the way it was, because I remember back in them days, I was able to do this and I was able to do that, So they have not experienced, and we have not taught them what happened to us, because it was one time, it was a way where people was ashamed to allow for their children to know that they was under this right out racism, that's in your face racism. And that was because they didn't want their children to have this fear of moving forward in their life, because if they had taught racism, then there would be that fear coming right along with it. And we still came a long way, and still coming.
But we can't let our children forget, and nor should
where
our grandchildren,
right?
And nor should our grandchildren. This is, this is the big thing about what's going on with the critical race theory and all of that, because I guess there's people out there who want to whitewash slavery.
Right.
They want to say that, well, it was a thing we did, but it wasn't a big thing.
Yeah, let's start all over again.
Yeah, but
we have to start over again with the wealth.
Yeah, no, you're not. You're not going. You're not all the reparations.
Right. You're not going to do that.
Or you're not going to start over. By saying, oh, we're going to have free communities that you can live in. I grew up down in St. Bernard Parish, and as far as I can remember, even till today, we still have communities that's been redlined. Black people lived in certain area, white people lived in others. We could not get loans, or even. And I think of my dad, because he was so angry by. He fought in World War II, got injured, got bombed, his tent, got a medical leave, and then the FHA loans came out. But after fighting for America, my dad couldn't get an FHA loan. You know why? And it said, look it up, people, because it was only for white soldiers. I mean, they put it in writing. Only white soldiers were able to do it. Yeah. Even though my dad and many like him put their lives on the line for America. Okay? So has America changed? No. You know why it ain't changed? Because we can still put KKK members in charge of America. That's right. And that's just the way it is. That's the way I feel. Again, some people going to say, oh, you know what you're talking about. I don't care what you think that I know, but I do know.
Those who say that, is because, as you just said earlier, they have not experienced racism. They heard the word, but they have not experienced it. They don't know what it means. And a lot of people tell you just why some white folk hating some black folk.
But the some that do hate are the ones who carry the votes. Okay, because I don't like to judge people on what I think they are, but I'm gonna just say the statistics. The statistics show that America is still full of hate. When you put somebody like Donald Trump in to be your commander in chief,
and gender control. Because it's like
And look, yeah, and look at the people he's putting in his
Hillary
cabinet.
Clinton fought hard, won the election, but still couldn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris, the same thing, and she could not get it. So I'm convinced. Even in if you look back at how women are controlled, and they still controlled, and they do it so well in the church house. It's like I was reading the national uh, amount of women who are the uh, the pastor of the church that's owns the church, that's the pastor, right? Yeah, who are pastors of the church. They may be associate members and all that,
Mm-hmm.
but they are not the pastor. And you do not have that many women who are the pastor of the church. So it's been that way for so long. And a lot of men would love to have a change, but they're outnumbered.
Yeah.
They're outnumbered.
Well, and you know why we have been classified in some type of religion. We've been classified in some kind of, even when it comes to sex, we got people of different sexes who different things, but we're all classified. I personally know that, I'm an African American. Okay. There's no doubt in my mind. People say, well, there's a lot of black people who say, well, my ancestors are from Africa. That's why I'm a African. They got some people who say, well, I'm not, really an American because my people. But to make this point, you know, what do you see on the news? What you hear people say is that there's three groups of people, black, white, and brown
and
people in America,
and two groups of media.
and two groups of media.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at that classification as, the other two classifications as you got your, you know, you got your wiggers and you got your wiggers and your biggers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then you got African American. Now I'm gonna let you figure that out why I use that as a race, because I'm figuring that the biggers and the wiggers are the people who went out and voted for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the people who come to America are brainwashed to the fact that you don't want to be part of the African American part of what goes on in America. Because we, for a long time, even before slavery, have always been, the group that do the worst.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talked about. We've been, demonized.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had to accept their religion.
Mm-hmm.
All of it, we
right.
had to, we
Right.
had to accept their culture
In order
to survive. To survive, we couldn't learn. I mean, reading.
Strive.
Yeah, because if we learned to read
survive.
one time, at one time in America, if you knew how to read, you can get hung.
Oh no.
So they're not saying we're gonna hang you, but we're just gonna stop you from reading certain stuff.
That's right. It's taking books off the shelf.
Yeah.
In school library. you know. So I mean, it's serious. It's real serious in this country.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know the definitions to the things I use, just use your common sense. You figure out if you're right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I've talked to people who've come to this country, and the people that they said that they don't need to be involved with from coming from their country is us, because we have nothing to offer,
Mm-hmm.
but we do. Just like yesterday, I heard all of the people they imported from Africa, the culture of who people who were building houses and big buildings, they came from Africa with that knowledge. But somebody said, what? We came over here to learn a trade. But that said to me, well, we already had a trade.
That's right.
You
That's
know?
right. Yeah.
Because we built America.
Right. As I said, we forgot that we forgot. And then we forgot that we forgot.
We definitely forgot for this election.
Yeah, we forgot.
Because
we was doing it. They said they took the Africans first who had a trade,
Mm-hmm.
who could build this country. So they used the ones who had a trade,
But to
and
teach
and to
those who look
make
like them the
their
trade.
trade, and then turn around and make you think that
They did
they did.
it.
You know, they did. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna
that's
say
being brainwashed. You know,
right, exactly. And,
and so if you go to their school, you are accepting the brainwash, and you don't understand it either. But that's what it is,
yeah.
because you got to learn their education, their way, like you said, their religion. You got to be
Mm-hmm.
their way or no way.
Mm-hmm. But remember, you may have voted for Kamala, but there were a lot of people that look like us, and I'm talking about my brown brothers and sisters
Mm-hmm.
who were brainwashed, who, even our Chinese Vietnamese community,
Mm-hmm.
who were brainwashed to
Mm-hmm.
believe that, hey, you live with Trump, you live in white America.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
you
That's right.
know? So don't
We
complain.
made it.
Don't
Yeah, we
complain when
made it.
he.
It's just you lazy
Hmm.
black folks out there who don't want nothing and
Yeah.
don't try to get yourself nothing.
And
No.
when your brothers and sisters are being deported out of here because he said he gonna clean it up,
And
you
look what
know.
he said. Even the women who didn't support Kamala Harris are going to be sorry, because the man said he don't. J.D. Vance said
Mm.
they do not believe in women having those jobs in high places. You know, those are
Mm.
jobs for men, and they're going to take them away. So women are going to be losing positions,
Hmm.
and you're going to need to vote for a woman then. Because a man, you just gotta vote. You gotta do it.
Look, criminals put criminals in good position.
Mm.
Donald Trump was a criminal, not was, is a
Is
criminal,
a criminal.
and looks like everybody he's hiring got to have
Criminals.
either have a criminal background or they got to be some kind of sexual predator.
They gotta be like him.
So when you see that and he's finished filling his cabinet, and you gonna sit there and say, well, what the hell happened?
Mm-hmm.
That's the person you voted for.
Mm-hmm.
Don't complain when you made a bad choice, because you made a bad choice.
And
That's just the way it
it
is,
is.
you know.
And and we're gonna close because we're coming back next week. And I want you to know that our third co-host is not his Zandra, but she wanted to be here, but she will be at the next show. She's still trying to get herself together again. She was so hurt behind Kamala Harris, so she's really trying to, you know, rehabilitate herself. And we are helping her to do so. So she will be back the next show. Thank you for watching and continue to watch us. And I know that you're watching. I see your reviews, and you're making some like uh, things to us, letting us know that you are listening and you're looking, and make some comments. Tell us if you agree or disagree. But we're here, and we're here to give that information to you through our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. So you said
And no, we're not professionals either. And
common
we
common folks.
yeah. So we're just common people from the community,
Right.
trying to bring the message straight to you and without flaws. Okay, but help us and continue to, keep us in prayers. We're gonna keep you the same way, and just keep listening and listening and letting us know that you hear us.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.